Hello and welcome to your daily dose of Satoshi's news. Today's date is Wednesday, the 22nd of April 2026, the year of Green Wicks and BSV Terranode in the mix. Branch your threads, expand your mind with treechat.ai or your post pot on chain. Let's see what we've got today. It's the big reveal. The big reveal of this absolute and utter piece of garbage. But we're going to find out who they pointed the finger at. We've got it all here in Decrypt. Finding Satoshi makes the case for Hal Finney, Len Sassaman as Bitcoin creators. What an absolute effing joke. Anyway, we got some 365 days of Bitcoin history. And check this out, on the 22nd of April 2011, Bitcoin experienced its first parabolic rally with a 4,000% gains on the 22nd of April 2011. Bitcoin broke out on the upside and by the 8th of June 2011, within 50 days, had posted 4,000% gains. There we go, and then came straight back down again. This was the first, one of the first, I think it might have been the first ever massive pump and dump that the cabal were trying to orchestrate to shake the confidence of those involved in Bitcoin, which is what they normally do. Then we'll finish with the Kelly Schweller countdown. Right, let's get into it.
Craig says he's Satoshi, like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. 1 million strong, and transactions flying free. He's acclaiming his legacy, you'll surely see.
Okay, so here we go. Check it out. Finding Satoshi has finally been revealed. But while we're here, tell you what, let's just remind ourselves of the trailer, because it's only like a minute long here.
This is the greatest financial mystery of the 21st century.
Bitcoin is one of the most groundbreaking financial innovations in decades.
The inventor, Satoshi Nakamoto, completely disappears.
I liken Satoshi to Prometheus. It's like giving the world fire.
Satoshi is one of the wealthiest people in the world.
He owns
1.1 million Bitcoin, but none of them have ever been moved.
Satoshi is worth billions of dollars. I'm Bill Cohen. I'm a best-selling author. I've always been interested in film and documentaries.
I'm Kyler Maroney. I've investigated murder, bank fraud, embezzlement. The mindset has to be, how do I find new ways to find that information? It's not human nature to not touch
A
it. It's in the
massive
billions.
fortune.
Is there anyone else who worked with you?
I'd rather not go into that. I'm not going on camera to talk about that.
You don't want to answer who?
Doesn't matter. I don't play the speculation game of who's Nakamoto.
I don't want to say too much here. I'm not, I think I'm conveying the impression that I know more than I do.
You are.
And I don't want to do that. All I want to say is...
Do you know more than you're letting on?
If I did, I wouldn't tell you.
Why?
They had to be an expert in economics, an expert in currencies, an expert in coding.
We've got two potential windows into
Our main suspects.
We need to dive into the one place Satoshi was most present, his online behavior.
We see a clear pattern when there's essentially no activity from Satoshi.
This is a guy who trusts numbers and not people.
the code.
Timestamps.
The typing. It all matched.
He was talking to Satoshi before Bitcoin was released.
Usually I'm looking for people who've done something wrong. But in this case, I was looking for somebody who did something revolutionary. For a few years, you declined to speak with me. What changed your mind?
There's this concept called K-anonymity. You can sum it up as the bigger the crowd, the easier it is to hide it.
But there's a small risk. In The Wizard of Oz, when they saw behind the curtain, they began to think, that looks very suspicious.
Bill, I know who Satoshi is.
The search ends here, does it? I would say get ready for one of the biggest load of propaganda garbages in Bitcoin you've ever seen in your life, if you can believe it, because the amount of shit that we've seen is unbelievable. But here we go. So even I predicted that, there we go, like I said, look, spoiler alert, these douchebags of Bitcoin will most likely be pointing the finger at Adam Back. Or if it's not Adam Back, because they've already done that in the Seeking Satoshi, and then they pointed the finger at Peter Todd and, you know, Hal Finney and all that. If they're going to make a big movie like this, it's going to have to be somebody that's probably not with us anymore. Like Hal Finney, Len Sassaman, you know, what an absolute load of crap. But yeah, you know, we kind of like thought it was coming, but let's read what Decrypt has said about it. So they said Finding Satoshi makes the case for Hal Finney and Len Sassaman as Bitcoin creators. A new documentary asserts the Bitcoin creator Satoshi Nakamoto was actually two people, the late Hal Finney and Len Sassaman. How convenient. How convenient to two people that are no longer with us anymore. In brief, a new documentary argues that Bitcoin creator Satoshi Nakamoto was two people, late cryptographers Hal Finney and Len Sassaman. Well, in this channel, we know that both of those two have been debunked. It cannot be Adam Back, it cannot be Hal Finney, and it cannot be Len Sassaman. And we know. And yet these people think they've spent, what, years trying to find this out? Is so ridiculous. Anyway, the documentary's investigation relied upon a process of elimination that tapped a Unabomber investigator and cross-referenced suspects' online activity. The directors told Decrypt that a 90-minute interview with disgraced crypto mogul Sam Bankman-Fried didn't make the final cut. Well, he would have had nothing to say anyway. A documentary released on Wednesday asserts that Satoshi Nakamoto, or Wednesday being today, was never an individual. But see, all chains of signatures lead back to the Genesis block. That's how we know it has to be an individual. So they're wrong there. But rather a pseudonym shared by two expert cryptographers who combined forces to create Bitcoin before their respective deaths, Hal Finney and Len Sassaman. Directed by Tucker Tooley and Matthew Millay, Finding Satoshi showcases a four-year investigation. 4 years! 4 years, and that's the best they can come up with. That's hilarious. Guided by American business writer William D. Cohen and private investigator Tyler Maroney, delving deep into the 21st century's greatest unsolved mysteries. The film features well over a dozen interviews ranging from the wealthiest people in the world to computer scientists who helped uncover Satoshi's identity, sometimes unintentionally. Bullshit. Investigations into Satoshi's identity can bring unwanted legal or personal scrutiny to the individual's longtime Bitcoin core developer Peter Todd, for example. Yet the conclusion of Finding Satoshi provokes little consternation because its suspects are no longer alive. Well, that's because orchestrated, complete and utter propaganda. In some ways, the documentary appears to break new ground, featuring an interview with Fran Finney, the late cryptographer's widow. In the film, she concedes that her husband probably played a role in Bitcoin's creation. Cohen told Decrypt, "I think that was very, very powerful." Sassaman's widow, Meredith L. Patterson, is also included in the documentary, assessing whether her husband could have been Satoshi as well. But that's not before other suspects are identified first. Adam Back, Nick Szabo, David Chaum, Paul LaRue and Wei Dai. What a joke. In many ways, the film comes across as a love letter to the digital underground where Satoshi found fertile ground, namely privacy-fighting cypherpunks. Phil Zimmerman is among the most notable featured in the film, a privacy pioneer who armed the public with military-grade email encryption in the early 90s by creating pretty good privacy, or they had PGP keys. Sassaman, who took his own life in 2011 after Satoshi's final post, well actually it wasn't his final post, because Satoshi actually posted, "I am not Dorian Satoshi Nakamoto" from the Peer-to-Peer Foundation network. So that was his final post. And Len Sassaman wasn't around when Satoshi did that. So it's not Len Sassaman. And Finney, who passed away due to complications from ALS in 2014, both worked on PGP's encryption. The documentary theorizes that Finney composed Bitcoin's code, bullshit, while Sassaman handled written matters including Bitcoin's foundational 9-page white paper, more bullshit. The greatest financial mystery of the 21st century ends on April 22nd. Well, it hasn't. Watch the official trailer for the Finding Satoshi now, pre-purchased at the link in the bio. I'm not going to bother at all. Before Cohen and Maroney land on their suspects, finding Satoshi, directors devote ample time to mapping out the cultures that Bitcoin was likely born from, such as the Extrapolians, a group of techno-optimists, transhumanists, and various Bitcoin forerunners that Satoshi combined elements of, including Adam Back's Hashcash. Back, the co-founder and CEO of Bitcoin infrastructure firm Blockstream, who implemented SegWit that segregated the digital signatures from the transaction data, which went against Satoshi's definition of Bitcoin when he said, "We define an electronic coin as a chain of digital signatures," so it's not him, who established the concept of proof of work. No, he didn't. It was Hashcash. That was Cynthia Dwork and Moni Nail who created proof of work. Was recently fingered as Satoshi in a New York Times investigation, which leaned heavily on linguistic analysis. What a load of crap. Following the article's publication, Back denied that he was Satoshi, as he has done many times. If you had a $100 million fortune, you're not just going to sit there and live a life of frugality, Cohen said, referring to the estimated 1.1 million Bitcoin that Satoshi holds. We just used our analysis and destructive reasoning to get to a different conclusion. The film's investigators enlisted the help of Kathleen Puckett, a former FBI agent who helped bust a Unabomber, Theodore John Kaczynski, to assess the motives of whoever wrote Bitcoin's white paper. Her analysis, Bitcoin's creator didn't seem to care about money, or he had other priorities like truth. Back is eventually eliminated alongside several Satoshi candidates following a conversation with alias Blackburn, Asleya Blackburn, a data scientist who previously worked at Rice University and Bayer College of Medicine in Houston. She provides Cohen and Maroney with their data that allows them to measure suspects' online history against Satoshi's. The profile fits Finney and Sassaman. Oh, how convenient. What a load of crap. The flick also presents a fact flagged by Jameson Lopp, CTO and security firm C.I.A, as a potential counterpoint. Satoshi emailed back and forth with a developer at the same time that Finney, an avid runner, participated in a race in Santa Barbara, California. That discrepancy ultimately backed the investigators' theory that Finney composed the code. No, he didn't. He wasn't Satoshi at all. In fact, he was still running in a race while he was meant to be emailing someone else, but we'll get to that. While Sassaman composed sentences, Steele, Cohen and Maroney said that they conducted plenty of interviews across the sphere. We're all Satoshi apart from Craig Wright, yeah? The cryptosphere that didn't move the needle much. Conducted at the height of his powers in 2021, a 90-minute interview with the FTX founder and former CEO Sam Bankman-Fried didn't make the final cut, Cohen said. The disgraced crypto mogul was later sentenced to 25 years in prison for orchestrating a multi-billion-dollar fraud scheme. The documentary features interviews from other figures in finance, including Strategy's Michael Saylor and Microsoft Bill Gates. Cohen noted that those individuals appear to downplay the importance of Satoshi's identity, effectively giving investigators a stiff arm. We went a year and a half interviewing all these people, Cohen said. They're fascinating. They should be their own separate documentary, but we weren't getting anywhere. What a load of crap. What a load of baloney. An absolute load of baloney, that document. 4 years. 4 years. And that's all they could come up with. I did better than them in 18 months. And I had all the evidence. All the evidence. It is Craig Wright as Satoshi Nakamoto. Dear, oh dear. Anyway, some 365 days of Bitcoin history. So on the 22nd of April, Bitcoin experienced its first parabolic rally. With 4,000% gains on the 22nd of April 2011, Bitcoin broke out on the upside, and by the 8th of June 2011, within 50 days, had posted 4,000% gains. Look at this, the parabolic rally, and then the dump. Look at that. Look at that. Crashed 92% to $2.10 from high on 19th of October, 4 months after posting a high of $31.78. Look at that. That is crazy. That is crazy. We still got that here? Oh, there we go. Brilliant. Brilliant. 22nd of April 2014, video. Dorian Nakamoto thanks Bitcoin community for donations. There we go, Dorian Nakamoto. Thanks Bitcoin community for donations. Well, yeah, he's probably had quite a bit there, hasn't he, really? Yeah. 22nd of April 2022, in a tweet, Bloomberg senior commodity strategist Mike McGlone suggested that Bitcoin BTC was becoming collateral in the global paradigm shift marked by the Russian invasion of Ukraine and the fact that China banned cryptocurrencies in 2021. Let's have a look at this one. Oh, there, I remember that one. Is that actually a video there? Here we go. Honestly, well, these people say that they have no idea. You know, I don't think this many people could be that dumb, but we all know what's going on, really. Anyway, there we go. We're on the 22nd of April. We're on day 216 of the Kerlin Schweller countdown. When's it going to finish? You're going to have to stay tuned to find out. It's going to be absolutely epic. So until then, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.
I understand.
Do you?
Do you? This is it. I'm telling you, this is it.
The king still has one more move.